a lot of it gets into the issue of just tech adoption, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of where those three categories come into play. I mean, there's all of this cool tech out there. I mean, there are people doing genuinely amazing things. The problem a lot of times is actually getting it out into the world and getting companies to, like, one, buy it, and then two, actually use it, because those are different, right? I mean, like, our a big part of our audience is brokers, and like, you can sell a broker all the tech in the world, or you can, I guess, but getting individual users to actually use this new technology that you brought in, I mean, it's a whole different battle. And the customer success piece is, it's often overlooked because you shovel it on to your sales guy, right? You're like, okay, I've got a sales guy. He's going to do sales, and he's going to do customer success, and he's going to do some marketing too. Well, those are three very distinct roles. And they're also like, and all three of them are very important. So to have them just stockpiled on this one dude or one girl in your office, like, it doesn't work. They just end up doing a really mediocre job at all three of them. And they end up getting upset because it's way too much work.
Incredibly frustrating. And even then, I mean, don't want to stereotype too much, but that person you're talking about is usually pretty much they're fresh out of college, or maybe they're fresh out of the military, but they're young and they're not quite as experienced in the job, the one job that they need to do. And then here you go, here are three full-time jobs that you're throwing on this really young person.
Yeah. And like, even if they are experienced, a lot of times their experience isn't in freight. So it makes it that much more of an uphill battle for them. I mean, if you've been selling, a lot of tech companies run into the dilemma of, well, do we hire somebody with freight experience for this role, or do we hire somebody with like SaaS sales experience? And they're both important. You need to know how to do both of those. But if you go the technology route and you hire somebody with a lot of tech experience, well, they have a really tough time relating what they're selling to people on the other side, because they've never done it before. Like, they don't know anything about the industry. They haven't lived it. So like, being able to educate people on that, like, that's a huge portion of it.
No, definitely. I feel like brokers, especially, if there's an industry that really needs to sort of level up here, it's got to be the brokers.
Yeah. And, I think that they've actually been doing a really good job of that over the past several years, or some have at least, because if you look at some of the technologies starting to enter the area, I mean, you've got like Uber Freight and Convoy and JB Hunt all doing like innovative things. And brokers have really found that it's funny. I'm watching the FreightWaves event, and Peter from Carrier Direct and Craig from FreightWaves both kind of went off on this, started talking about this. The brokers who are really doing well and succeeding are the ones who are finding ways to kind of marry technology and more traditional way of doing things.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think then that this will spur more and more to do it, or do you think there's still that sort of divide of no, the way I do it is fine, we're booking enough loads, we're okay, or like more people starting to see the light, so to speak?
That's a really good question. In terms of whether or not more people are seeing the light, I would say yes. I'm kind of an inherently optimistic person. I like to think the answer is yes. But at the same time, I do have conversations every week like the one you just described. You're talking to a broker and he just says, yeah, man, like, the market's great right now. I'm making 20% margins. I'm making money hand over fist. I don't need this fancy new technology. And like, I understand where they're coming from on that kind of stuff, but I'm also a big believer that, like, current market aside, margin compression is a real thing. I feel like the days of being able to operate at a 20% margin are probably slowly going away. So over the next several years, the companies who are going to be able to succeed and the companies who are going to be able to subsist on lower margins or just make more money with existing margins are the ones who do onboard that new technology to cut down their costs to serve and to just make everything more efficient within their company.
See, that's exactly it. And that's another thing. It's like, yes, so many are doing well right now because of where the market is and what the market's looking like. So this is the time to invest in the future. this is the time to take some of that profit to set yourself up for continued success, throughout the decade and beyond. Why are you just looking at it as, oh, well, this is going to be a great year, so I'm happy? It's like, what kind of business strategy is that?
Yeah, you're almost stealing some of my talking points. I totally agree with that. The companies that do well are the ones who kind of think more long term. It's not just, hey, things are great right now. Like, let's make as much money as we possibly can and then figure it out in a couple of years. The companies who do well are the ones who realize that, the market's going to shift again. It's not always going to be like this. So now is the time to really develop the carrier base, to invest in new technology, do things that are going to set us up for success in the future.